All the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam became apostates, kafirs, except 3. Only 3 remained in Islam. They asked him, which 3? He said, Miqdad ibn Aswad, Ammar ibn Yasir, and Salman al-Farisi. Now this aqidah of the Shiite is extremely dangerous. To make takfir on the companions of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is very dangerous, and I'll tell you why it's dangerous afterwards. There's an ayah, Surah 5, verse 67, in which the Shiites said that Allah Ta'ala commanded the Prophet to pronounce Ali ibn Abi Talib as his rightful successor. And the Prophet was hesitant to proclaim, to make this announcement, because he was afraid of the Muslims. He, the Prophet, was afraid of the Muslims. So Allah revealed an ayah to reprimand the Prophet. The ayah, Ya ayyuhar Rasul, O Messenger, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. Proclaim what your Lord has commanded you to proclaim, what your Lord has revealed unto you. Wa in lam taf'al, and if you don't, fama balaghta risalata. If you don't make this announcement, you failed in proclaiming the message of Allah Ta'ala. Surah 5, verse 67. They claim that the cause of revelation is that the Rasul was afraid to announce Ali as his successor. Now there is a well on the outskirts of Medina called Ghadir Kum. At the farewell pilgrimage, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave a speech at Ghadir Kum. And the Rasul said, anyone, if I am his wali, then Ali is also his wali. Now this speech at the well, Ghadir Kum is very important for the Shiites. They hung on to Ghadir Kum as their evidence that Ali was the rightful successor. Why did the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam stop the Muslims after the Hajj, gave a speech, and said, if I am your wali, then Ali is your wali? What is the meaning of the Arabic word wali? Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah translate the word to mean, if I am your friend, Ali is your friend. If I am your helper, Ali is your helper. If I am your companion, Ali is your companion. The Shia said, the Sunnis, your interpretation of the word wali, the Arabic word wali, is wrong. The word means, if I am your master, then Ali is your master. So they translate the word wali to mean master. Therefore, when the Rasul gave the speech at Ghadir Kum, he announced the caliphate of Ali. So all the Sahabas who heard Ghadir Kum, the bayan, the speech, and didn't give their bay'ah to Ali, because they claimed that they accepted Ali as their caliph, and shook his hand and said, congratulations, you have become our master. This is their interpretation of the hadith, and this is their narration. So after the Rasul died, all the Sahabas who chose Abu Bakr to be caliph, they broke their promise to Ali that they made at Ghadir Kum, the well on the outskirts of Medina where the Prophet stood and gave the bayan. So because they broke their promise to Ali, they all became kafirs except for 3, Miqdad ibn Aswad, Ammar ibn Yasir, and Salman al-Farisi. And the reason why they included Salman al-Farisi is because he is a Persian. Now why did the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam make the speech at Ghadir Kum and said, if I am your friend, Ali is your friend? Because a man admitted to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he hates Ali. A man admitted to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he hates Ali. Now why is it that a lot of people hated Ali in the time of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It is said because he killed many kafirs on the battlefield. He partook in the battle of Badr, the battle of Uhud, the battle of Khandaq, the battle of Khaybar. He partook in many battles, the Battle of Hunain. And he killed many kafirs on the battlefield. When the two armies used to come face to face, the army of the Muslims and the army of the kafirs used to come with beautiful jewelry and they show off with their weapons. And they used to say to the Muslims, send out your champion. Send out your champion. A Muslim would fight with a kafir until one of them died. Sword by sword. Until one killed the other. So every time the kafirs would say to the Prophet ﷺ, send out your champion. And they used to brag and boast about their weapons. The Prophet always picked on Ali to go and take on the kafir. And Ali never lost a single duel. He always dispatched the kafir to the hellfire. So Ali has a lot of blood on his hands, the blood of kuffar. So because of that, even though some of them embrace Islam, they can't get over that their fathers, their brothers, their uncles, their nephews were killed by Ali on the battlefield. So a man admitted to the Rasul that he hated Ali. So when the man admitted to the Rasul that he hated Ali, because Ali is from the Prophet's family, he gathered the people of Ghadirkum and made an announcement. If I am your wali, then Ali ibn Abi Talib is your wali. This is our interpretation. The evidence of the Sunni is stronger. Why? The most important act of ibadah is your salah. Why did the Prophet insist that Abu Bakr and nobody else except Abu Bakr Siddiq should lead the Muslims in prayer? Another problem the Shiites have. Have you heard of Fadak? An oasis. Where is this oasis situated? At Khaybar. When the Rasul ﷺ passed away, Fatima came and demanded the oasis from Abu Bakr. So my father left it as my birthright, my inheritance. Abu Bakr Siddiq did his ijtihad and he quoted a hadith, "Nahnu ma'shar al-anbiya la nurath." We prophets, we do not leave behind properties to be inherited by others. This was the evidence of Abu Bakr. Now the Shiites, they refuted this hadith of Abu Bakr. How did they refute it? They used the Quran. وَوَرَثَ Sulaiman Dawood. Sulaiman inherited from Dawood. So they said Abu Bakr contradicted the Quran. Sulaiman inherited from Dawood. And Sulaiman was a prophet, Dawood was a prophet. So prophets, you can inherit from prophets. That's the ayah they quoted. Now how do you explain the ayah? Because if you cannot explain the ayah, the Shiites will confuse you about your deen. In regards to Sulaiman and Dawood, who was the rich one and who was the poor one? Who was the rich one? Sulaiman. And who was the poor one? Dawood. So what did Sulaiman inherit from Dawood? Knowledge, not wealth. This is the tafsir of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Sulaiman, the rich one, inherited from the poor one. What did he inherit? Knowledge. So when the Shiites use that ayah to refute Abu Bakr, that evidence doesn't stand up to scrutiny because Sulaiman was the wealthy one, Dawood was the poor one. What he inherited from his father was knowledge, not wealth, not dunya things. They claim that when Fatima came to ask for the fadak, Omar was in the house and he slammed the door in her face and caused her to lose her pregnancy and she died as a result. This is in their history books, and their history books are different from your history books, and their understanding of the Quran is different from your understanding of the Quran. So in their tafsir, when Allah Ta'ala said, "Abasa wa tawalla and ja'ahu al-a'ma," he frowned and turned away because the blind man came to him. They said the Prophet didn't frown. The Prophet is perfect. The Prophet cannot make one mistake. A Prophet cannot make one mistake. An Imam cannot make one mistake. So their tafsir of Abasa wa tawalla, it was Abu Jahl who frowned, not the Prophet. Abu Jahl frowned. In the tafsir of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the Prophet frowned and turned away because he was interrupted by Abdullah ibn Maktoum, the blind man, who said, "Come teach me what Allah has taught you." But in their tafsir, no, it wasn't the Prophet who frowned, it was Abu Jahl who frowned, because the Prophet ﷺ would never frown, and they use an ayah to say it wasn't the Prophet. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. You, Muhammad, you have great character. خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. So how can Allah say in the Quran the Prophet has خُلُق عَظِيم, a great character, and then Allah said in another ayah, he frowned and turned away from the blind man. So it wasn't Muhammad who frowned, it was Abu Jahl who frowned. Now, how do I know? Because I studied the tafsir of the Shiites. I studied their tafsir and their history in details. Now, concerning the Fadak, Umar ibn Abdulaziz gave it back. Umar ibn Abdulaziz gave it back to Ahlul Bayt.